There's a brand new restaurant in Disney World and it's making people angry. This whimsical and fancy restaurant has been added to the Disney World boardwalk and boasts afternoon tea, legendary cakes, and more. So what's making people mad? Well, it's the prices. At first glance, the menu looks pretty shocking. $17 eggs? Whew. Let's review the brand new The Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers. And yes, we're gonna eat the fancy eggs. Cake Bake Shop is a table service restaurant serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll find sweet and savory menus. They will soon offer an afternoon tea service, and they have a champagne bar. You also can stop by the connected bakery for to-go options. As of right now, the only discount they're accepting is the Disney Visa, and they are not accepting the Disney dining plan at this time. But over the past several years, Gwendolyn Rogers and the Cake Bake Shop have received multiple awards and been recognized by or featured on Food Network, Oprah, Rachel Ray, USA Today, and more. The restaurant is currently in a soft opening phase and is walk-in only, but they're hoping to have reservations up and ready on the Disney website and app by November. I am here to start with breakfast, so let's head inside and get our breakfast on, shall we? The inside of the Cake Bake Shop has a beautiful atmosphere. It is very white and bright with nods to the boardwalk and impeccable detailing in the lighting. Tons of chandeliers all throughout that look absolutely gorgeous. The music that plays in the restaurant is a beautiful, relaxing, kind of regal soundtrack, and it even has birdsong and nature sounds mixed in to make you feel a little bit like you're in an enchanted wood. There are a number of different rooms, including several that can be used for private events and parties if you'd like. And I really want to call attention to the amazing seasonal decor, which was a beautiful blend of fall and winter that tied in perfectly with the rest of the shop.
Well, I have been seated in the champagne bar, which I think is awesome because who doesn't love a champagne bar? 2 menus when you sit down. It is breakfast, but the first menu they give you regardless is the dessert menu because that's what the vibe is here. This is the Cake Bake Shop, so obviously they want you to look at the cakes. All the famous cakes, pastries, pies, cheesecakes, ice creams, cookies and bars, and of course your coffee and espresso menu. Thank you. Speaking of cake, everything's so glittery. I'm having a great time. All right, and here is the breakfast menu, which of course is what I am here for today. Breakfast is served from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And you'll find a pretty wide menu here. They've got featured cocktails, cinnamon toast brioche bites, breakfast cakes, which we are going to be getting breakfast cake because we deserve it. And then also some classics, eggs, waffles, French toast, plus some souped up favorites like quiche, cokes, and croissants. We're going to try a good sampling today, so I'm pretty excited, and some of it is already here. So for our first course, we do have the pumpkin spice latte, which they will make with your choice of milk. It's topped with cinnamon, has a cinnamon sugar donut hole next to it, yum. And I got mine with almond milk because I shouldn't have dairy. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Our breakfast cake is going to be the banana orange nut bread, which is homemade banana bread studded with chopped walnuts and fresh orange zest, topped with our signature cream cheese frosting. And as you might notice, both the latte and the banana nut bread are quite glittery. They are covered in the pixie dust, which is kind of the thing here, or pixie glitter. We also went ahead with the waffle and got the chocolate chip Belgian waffles. These are homemade Belgian waffles filled with Caliboo Belgian chocolate chips, served with a side of Vermont maple syrup, pink vanilla buttercream, also glittery, chocolate syrup, and more Caliboo Belgian chocolate chips. And it is all topped with a dusting of confectioner's sugar. So a very decadent and exciting first course to our breakfast. We're allowed to have multi-course breakfasts. We're in Disney World. Course 2, savory breakfast course has arrived. So we went with a little bit of fancy and a little bit of simple. And yes, this might help explain why the eggs are $20. So that price outrage, you might be starting to get a hint of whether or not it's worth it. So this over here is our croque madame. This is $28.99. Country bread with French ham, Gruyere cheese, and Maillé Dijon mustard topped with their creamy bechamel sauce. Oh my gosh. Served with an arugula salad dressed with their homemade lemon vinaigrette and topped with Parmesan cheese. And then the eggs any style, which again, one of those outrage items where people were like $20 for eggs, $17 for eggs, maybe makes a little bit more sense. We've got 2 eggs, oven roasted fingerling potatoes, there's toast served with their raspberry pixie jam, and their choice of smoked bacon, pork sausage, or plant-based sausage. We went with the smoked bacon. It's all served again with that arugula salad dressed with the homemade lemon vinaigrette and topped with cherry tomatoes and Parmesan cheese.
I'm outside to talk about tasting notes. Also, I'm with Miranda, and she has this. This is a mozzarella stick. Unrelated to cake bake, though. It's from the corn dog stand.
Look, it's heavy.
I'm sorry I touched your mozzarella stick.
It's going to break.
It is going to break. It's really heavy. So the first thing I had at breakfast was the pumpkin spice latte. This wasn't exactly a major standout. It was a delicious latte, well made. I love that it came with the little cinnamon sugar donut hole, and it had the cinnamon on top. Made it feel a little more elevated. Honestly, I would just go for a regular coffee. This latte is about $7, which, to be honest, is about what you pay at Starbucks for a pumpkin spice latte nowadays. So it's really not that insane, but it just wasn't that standout for me. I love that they have it as an option. I personally would just go for a regular coffee and then maybe get something like a mimosa or just an orange juice to go with my breakfast. But the pumpkin flavor was nice. It wasn't overly sweet, but it had a nice pumpkin flavor, a little bit of sweetness. So I think it was a well-balanced pumpkin spice latte that anyone who's a fan of those fall flavors would enjoy. And I started with the banana orange nut bread, which is in their breakfast cake section. This was a total standout for me. Homemade banana bread that was so delicious. It was perfectly moist and had a ton of banana flavor, but what really made it stand out for me was the orange zest that's inside of it. It added this zingy kind of note that really hit aromatically in the nose of this bread. So moist and delicious, and then when you got a bite with the icing, oh my gosh, it was so like sweet, but it wasn't overly slathered on there all thick, so you still got all the delicious flavors of the bread. I honestly might ask for a little extra icing next time to dip part of the bread in once I ate all the icing off of the outside. The other part of my sweet breakfast were the chocolate chip waffles. I'm not a huge waffles person. I'm actually not a sweet breakfast person, but obviously had to try it because a lot of folks are. These were incredible waffles, incredible. So soft and fluffy and airy with the perfect amount of chocolate chips where it wasn't overwhelmingly sweet, but there were chocolate chips in every single bite. They give you extra chocolate chips plus syrup and chocolate syrup to drizzle all over them, and that pink fluffy icing to go on top. I mean, if you were a sweet breakfast fan, this was the creme de la creme of sweet breakfast. It was so incredible. I have this big old bag of leftovers, and literally as soon as I get home, I'm cracking into those waffles again. They are so delicious. Savory breakfast course. Okay, so first thing in this course, we have the croque madame. This is one of the best breakfast sandwiches I've ever had in my life. I've had croque madames before. This is an impeccable croque madame. Beautiful, perfectly cooked runny egg on top that drizzles all down the side of the brioche. The Gruyere and the bechamel sauce mixed together so perfectly to make this creamy topping all around the delicious, thinly sliced ham that was layered on there. And perhaps the best part was the Dijon mustard was just like a whisper of Dijon in the sandwich that made the whole thing come together with this exciting like vibrancy. Just an incredible sandwich. I literally texted our whole team and said I had tears in my eyes when I ate it, and I'm not exaggerating, I literally did. It was so delicious. I also like that this is served with a side of the arugula salad because something this rich needs, I think, a little something lighter to cut it. And the arugula did a great job of this. I was grabbing the tomatoes for a little bit of acidity when it got too creamy for me. And now we get to the fancy eggs. As soon as this plate was put down in front of me, I understood the $17 price tag. The way it was listed on the outdoor menu, it just said eggs any style, $17. So I was like, am I gonna get 2 fried eggs and be charged $17? No, I got 2 amazing over easy eggs, along with a massive helping of their breakfast potatoes, a huge helping of the arugula and tomato salad, tons of smoked bacon, which I could also choose from sausage or plant-based sausage, a ton of toast, their raspberry jam. I mean, really, this was totally a loaded up breakfast plate. Made way more sense, the price tag, once you actually see the real menu when you get inside. I think there's been a lot of outrage about prices, but we didn't have all the context. And so So once you actually see like, oh, I'm paying $17 for like a fancy whole breakfast meal, it makes a little more sense. Still an expensive spot, but as you can see, these portions are a little bit more sizable than what you might expect when you're at first glance, seeing what the thing is called on the menu and seeing the prices and freaking out a little bit. So my overall breakfast takes are that I will absolutely be back here for breakfast. I thought that Miranda's aggressively nodding behind me. Behind you. She's behind you. She's not behind me. You would see her if she was behind me. I will absolutely be back for breakfast. There are some things that are out of my price range on the menu on breakfast and lunch and dinner. That's absolutely true. But I will be back. There are plenty of things that are worth the price, and I have to have that croque madame again. I think it was like one of my favorite meals I've had, definitely one of my favorite breakfasts in Disney World. But we are, of course, not just trying breakfast. So now I'm gonna pass you off to Miranda, who tried out not just the grab-and-go bakery with many treats, but also the full lunch and dinner menu. Not the full menu. She didn't eat everything on the menu. Why didn't you?
Because you wouldn't let me.
Where's your dedication?
My boss wouldn't let me. I was there till 9.
It's like, please let me eat the whole menu. The menu is really big.
Oh my goodness, the Cake Bake Shop's bakery is finally open. It's bright and early this morning. They've rolled out, quite literally, the pink tape here for the lines. I love this gorgeous white and pink aesthetic, and the pastels here are amazing. So now that we've seen a little bit of the outside, let's go on in and take a look around. As we checked out, all of our goodies came in this little cake bake bag. It's a little reusable bag. You can purchase the bag separately inside, but you can see everything that they packaged up for us so nicely here. Now that I've had a second to unpackage everything, let's run through it all. Starting over here in the top corner, we have the unicorn hot chocolate. This is actually a small. It costs us $11.99. You can get it in the large size like I mentioned before, but you can see all the toasty marshmallows there that are melting and all the sprinkles. It looks pretty good. Then over here we have the Millionaire's chocolate cake. Now this little slice of heaven is $22.99. You can see all those super cool layers of ganache in it and that edible glitter right on top. I'm really excited about that one. The chocolate truffle down here is $6, and it's actually the milk chocolate version with peanut butter and raspberry. Then we have the magic bar for $13.99. It looks like it's got some toasty coconut and some edible glitter, obviously, at the top. And then we've got the Marie Antoinette. I believe this is a gluten-free option. And this little guy will cost you $14.99. But look at all those layers of the icing and the fresh raspberries sandwiched between that macaron. Oh man, so good. I'm so excited to dig into it all. So let's start everything off with the, of course, unicorn hot chocolate. Oh man, I'm so excited for this one. I can smell it, and you get that waft before you actually get it like to your mouth, and it's amazing. Oh my goodness. I don't know that I've ever had hot chocolate made with strawberry milk, but this is divine. So they're definitely regular marshmallows with that edible glitter. I think it's that icing swirled in that has a little bit more of that heftier strawberry artificial taste to it, but it's definitely strawberry milk as a hot chocolate. This is fantastic. For $11.99, it's pretty steep, but treat yourself, right? Chocolate truffle. There is raspberry, dried raspberry on the outside, and the outer coating has that milk chocolate to it. So cheers again. That is heavenly. If you're a fan of chocolate dipped fruits, raspberries, strawberries, things like that, the raspberry taste comes through very, very well, and it's not overpowered by the chocolate, and it's a true raspberry. It's not like a very artificial heavy flavor to it. If you like the consistency of a nougat, center to maybe your candy bar, oh my gosh, this is the treat for you. And at $6, it's also, again, heftier price, but I would say one of the more affordable treats. This is the magic bar. You can see a little bit of it, all those hefty layers. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just like peeled it apart and it was like creamy on the inside like that. I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm not a fan of carrot cake. This thing is every bit as magic as it describes itself. The magic bar has taken everything that you wanted out of a cookie cake growing up, if you imagine those chocolate chip cookie cakes, and made it like a grown-up version. I don't know how else to describe it. It's amazing. You've got that cookie cake layer on the bottom, the chocolate chips that also have that extra filling and goo. It's got a little bit of a pecan taste to it, and you've got some other pecans kind of crunched in there that give it a really good texture, really awesome flavor. And there is a little bit of the carrot, sliced carrots tidbits in there, but that coconut is just a whole nother layer there at the top. It's kind of almost toasted a little bit. It's divine. Let's try out the macaron. If you've ever thought about how you can make a rose flavor or smell into a dessert, this is it. The Marie Antoinette is your answer. It's got a beautiful, light, fluffy buttercream to it. The raspberries are great. That raspberry center is the star of the show. It's more of a jam. It's got kind of a jelly consistency to it. It's amazing. It's definitely something that is very reminiscent of a breakfast pastry. If you like that floral rose light scent to it, you're gonna taste it as a flavor in this, and that just blew my mind. That was amazing. Now I know here's the big kicker. How are the cakes? These cakes have been a very popular topic, very hot commodity online ever since the menu debuted, and kind of a point of contention for a lot of people. It's been very divisive. That being said, we did order a slice of cake, and the Millionaire's cake, it's $22.99. It's a lovely, decadent, very smooth chocolate cake. There's actually 3 different layers of cake, and in between each of those layers is sandwiched all those different layers of the ganache, the crumbles, the buttercream icing, and then that outer layer to it is a milk chocolate coating that carries over to the top, and they've also got caramel drizzled on top and a few extra little crumbles. It is fantastic. $22.99 for a cake slice. It's pretty hefty. I'm gonna say that this is definitely a treat yourself, so also a magic, but definitely a treat yourself item, not something you're probably picking up on the daily. That being said, it was truly worth its weight if you're willing to pay that kind of a heftier price tag for it. And we're back. Welcome back to the Cake Bake Shop restaurant. Now, normally we would show you the lunch and the dinner separately, but because this is the soft open and they're only open for dinner, they are going to be having the same lunch and dinner menu here at this restaurant. So we figure, you know, why not? Let's do it the first day, right? So as of right now, dinner is open from 4 to 11 p.m. tonight. Starting tomorrow, they will be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you'll get that full experience from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. as those different courses change respectively. So I'm really excited to get in here, try out a few new favorite foods that I know that a lot of other people have enjoyed elsewhere, and see how it compares to all the other Disney World restaurants. All right, we've made it inside this gorgeous restaurant. The Cake Bake Shop menu. Oh my gosh, this menu is massive. So breakfast and brunch here, you can see they've got some of the quiche, crepes, and croissants, featured cocktails, breakfast cakes, salads, fruit and granola, a la carte items, eggs, waffles, French toast, and pancakes. And they've even got a selection of children's breakfast items. On the opposite side, they've got lunch and dinner. You can see their hors d'oeuvres here, the truffle pommes frites, gumbo poutine, pesto burrata, shrimp remoulade, the crab cake with remoulade. They've got soups of the day, chicken velvet soup, French onion soup, chicken and andouille gumbo. Oh, that sounds divine. Quiches, like a broccoli quiche, ham, rosemary, and goat cheese quiche. And a few salads, like the lemon Caesar salad, blackberry avocado salad, and green goddess Cobb salad. On the opposite side of the lunch and dinner that we just turned the page on, you have the choose two. So you can have the turkey and Gruyere sandwich, French ham and brie sandwich, the chicken salad croissant, cup of soup, lemon Caesar salad, or blackberry avocado salad. Those are all things that we kind of listed on the other page. Their signature dishes here are the New Orleans shrimp po' boy, chicken and andouille gumbo that we just saw, 3-cheese cavatappi with basil and breadcrumbs, classic burger with pommes frites, plant-based burger with pommes frites and roasted salmon fillet, and of course those lovely crab cakes. Their sides here are broccoli, smashed fingerling potatoes, pommes frites, side salad, fresh fruit, all butter croissant, and a warm baguette. Oof. Now, our server did tell us that this is a heavily New Orleans French-inspired cuisine that Gwen grew up with, knew and loved, and it's certainly shining in the menu reflections here. Over at the sandwich selections, again, the turkey and Gruyere sandwich, French ham and brie sandwich, chicken salad croissant, grilled salmon sandwich, a croque monsieur, croque madame, and a few children's menu selections like a peanut butter and raspberry jam sandwich, buttered noodles, grilled cheese, hand sandwich, turkey sandwich, hamburger sliders, and salmon sliders. Ooh, that's a choice for kids' menus. That sounds interesting. For the non-alcoholic drink selections, you've got a whole array of teas, lemonades, sodas, milk and hot chocolates, coffee and espresso, pots of tea down through here, champagne cocktails like a mimosa, Bellini, Aperol Spritz, signature cocktails featuring Gwendolyn's famous Cosmopolitan, Cake Bake Shop Shake Up, Black Swan, Pink Lady Margarita, Autumn Sangria, Rose Ricky, Through the Looking Glass, and a Frosé Rosé. Classic cocktails and New Orleans inspired ones are including a Sazerac, Tom Collins, an Old Fashioned, Manhattan, and a Bloody Mary. They've got a whole array of cakes including Gwendolyn's famous Earl's Court cake, a raspberry champagne cake, red velvet cake, carrot cake, pixie fetty birthday cake, millionaire's cake, a gluten-free Oprah's O-List mint chocolate chip cake, pumpkin chocolate cake, pumpkin spice cinnamon roll cake. For your pies, you got an apple crumble pie, a key lime pie, chocolate peanut butter mousse pie, a mixed berry cheesecake is the only option you have in the cheesecake department. Homemade ice creams and sorbets are served in vanilla, chocolate, and daily sorbet flavors in a single or double scoop. You've also got a Pixie Fetty sundae and a $1 Million sundae. For your French pastries, you got a gluten-free French macaron available in either raspberry champagne, birthday, rosé, chocolate caramel, a gluten-free macaron gift box, or the gluten-free Marie Antoinette. For your chocolates, you got chocolate truffles in a selection of milk chocolate, raspberry, peanut butter, black and white, caramel, dark chocolate. And in cookies, you've got the chocolate chip cookie with fleur de sel, walnut brownie, gluten-free brownie, raspberry jam crumble bar, a lemon bar, and that beautiful magic bar I've seen before. First out to arrive to our table was Gwen's famous Cosmo. Now this is actually made of Gwendolyn's personal recipe. So it's Kettle One vodka, Cointreau, fresh lime, cranberry, orange oil, and it's garnished with a beautiful orange peel, as you can see right there. Now this puppy will cost you $20.99. We also ordered the 3-cheese cavatappi, as you can see right here. This is also with basil breadcrumbs. It's $23.99. It's accompanied by a toasted half French baguette with salted European butter, but the cavatappi itself is made of Gruyere, Vermont sharp cheddar, a touch of blue cheese that's melted into their homemade cream sauce with applewood, smoked bacon folded into that cavatappi pasta, and it's topped with the toasted basil breadcrumbs and baked to perfection, and it looks it. Our Choose 2 is finally here, and this one we ordered was the French ham and brie sandwich with the lemon Caesar salad. This will cost you $26.99 for the sliced French ham and brie cheese that's served warm on a toasted French baguette with a Maille Dijon mustard and mayonnaise sauce. It's actually served with that arugula salad dressed with the homemade lemon vinaigrette and topped with a Parmesan cheese, and it looks divine just as well. This is the raspberry champagne cake. It's $22.99, but as you can see, it's a pretty hefty piece. It's got multiple layers here to it. It's actually 3 layers of that fluffy vanilla cake brushed with a French champagne simple syrup. It's also filled with raspberry pixie jam and fresh raspberries, and then it's finally frosted with the champagne vanilla buttercream and topped with fresh raspberries. And one of the bartenders came over and told me the story behind this cake. It's actually a little bit extra above and beyond, because each of the raspberries that make it into each individual slice are hand-picked. You're not going to have a terrible raspberry that's extra dark or mushy or flavorless or a little overly ripe. Everything is hand-picked and hand-placed for these cakes. That is fantastic. It's got a really nice, zesty orange flavor to it. You can really feel that come out. That orange peel has been sitting there for a little while. It just kind of helps liven that flavor up. That Kettle One is incredible. So smooth. It works so well with this. In fact, actually, Robert, the bartender here, was telling me that when he was, I'm going to use the word discovered by Gwendolyn herself. He was taking care of her table. He made her a cosmopolitan. She said, you know what? I can actually make it better. And she said, when you come work for me, and he does now, this is it. Oh my goodness, look at this. I could cry. This is so good. I'm a huge fan of the Gasparilla mac and cheese that's at the Grand Floridian. This is fantastic. You have a really great crunch from all those breadcrumbs, and then you've also got the real smoked applewood bacon taste to it. It's delicious, and it's in every bite. There's cream all around the Gruyere, and the different cheeses are all kind of working together to make it super flavorful, cheesy. Next up on our list is the French ham and brie. You can see our sandwich right here. You've got all the different layers, all that homemade sauce right here. The first thing that really grabs my attention about this sandwich is the crunch, and the homemade sauce with the Dijon mustard is exquisite. It's mixed with the mayo. It's got a right amount of meat for the rest of the sandwich itself. Nothing's overly proportioned or completely off and feels like you're fighting the sandwich meat versus the actual bread itself. That's fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of the salad, but then again, I'm not a salad girly. I do like the Parmesan that's sprinkled over top of it. The salad itself was nice and crisp, also had a good crunch to it, just like you would anticipate out of a good solid Caesar salad. The real thing that kind of set this apart for me, though, were these homemade croutons. These were fantastic. You can see that they're like fresh cut from the focaccia. Raspberry champagne cake. I have another confession to make. I'm not big on vanilla cake. I'm certainly not very big on vanilla icing. This makes me a believer again in vanilla cake. Usually when I get vanilla cake, it's very dry, it's very brittle, it's kind of stuck together. You can tell it's been frozen for a while. That is definitely not the case with this cake, and really with both the cakes. It's been very consistent today. These ingredients are very light, fresh. They're made of a special type of buttercream, so it doesn't leave that extra kind of pasty, lardy, thick taste in the roof of your mouth. This is fantastic. $22.99 for the cake. It's a hefty price tag. We're not going to debate that. But what I will say is this is probably not a dessert that you're looking to finish in one sitting. You're probably going to take it home, or you're probably going to be sharing it with at least one other person, maybe even multiple people. So if that's your take on it, and that's why you're coming to the Cake Bake Shop, this is definitely their specialty, and it shows.
The Cake Bake Shop is going to be magic for you if you're looking for a meal that would be great for the whole family. There were a lot of details like the glitter and the characters that I think kids will really love, but the meals are of a quality that grown-ups are going to really love. It's also magic if you are looking for something for a special occasion. The atmosphere and the food all feels very elevated, very fancy, and the service is incredible as well. This meal is going to be a tragic for you, probably going to be a skip if you're looking for something that will not take a ton of time. This is a table service meal, so it's a bit lengthy, and though the service was incredible, you're going to want to spend some time in here. Also a tragic if you are not trying to break the bank. Though Cake Bake Shop had really amazing food, it's also on the pricier side. There are definitely some cheaper options around the boardwalk instead. And I've been debating whether or not this would be a tragic for picky eaters, because I do think some of their more basic options are souped up a little bit and it might be off-putting to picky eaters. But Miranda is our pickiest eater on the team, and she actually absolutely loved this spot and was able to find plenty of things that she liked. So we're gonna say it's okay for picky eaters. Another note is that this spot might be a good option instead of doing a character breakfast. Though it does not have those Disney characters, you can meet those guys in the park, and this spot does have a lot of kid appeal. Between the pixie glitter that you can get on your meal and all the little characters they have to talk about, plus the sort of princessy, regal environment, I think the kids are really gonna enjoy this spot, and you are spending about as much money as a character meal, if not less, and getting better food than most character meals. For instance, I would personally choose Cake Bake Shop over Topolino's Terrace, which is widely considered one of the best character meals in Disney World. For reference, breakfast came in at just under $100 before tip, and we spent around $250 total for both our breakfast, dinner, and our grab-and-go treats from the bakery. So this is one of those more expensive spots in Disney World. It's priced similar to something like a signature restaurant, a little bit nicer of a restaurant. However, my biggest takeaway from this is that there are many meals I have had in Disney World where I did not feel like they were nearly as worth the price as this one. For instance, recently, Emma and I have done Yachtsman, and Yachtsman I thought was maybe not as worth the amount of money that we spent to do Yachtsman, whereas here at Cake Bake Shop, I would plan a return trip. Is it a pricier meal? Absolutely. Is it something that might be worth budgeting in if it's catching your eye? For most of the items, the food was worth the price, and you can also opt to get some of the less expensive options on the menu, staying within the $20 entree range without popping up into that $40 entree range. For us, Cake Bake Shop was a total win. We both loved it, had just like the best time.
I'm literally back for round 2 today, like personally.
Like we loved Cake Bake Shop. And honestly, like I had seen a lot of the outrage about prices. It's not really my vibe as much, but I cannot wait to do afternoon tea here with my mom. Like I'm literally gonna drag her to that. She's gonna be thrilled. We really enjoyed the spot. I think the awards that it's gotten for the other 2 locations make perfect sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was a really incredible experience.
But they're so humble about it.
They're so humble. The service is so amazing.
Yes.
And it just, I think it's a great addition to Disney World. I don't think Disney World has anything like it.
No.
So it's like a nice new experience. And I think if anything in this video has caught your eye, then I can personally recommend Cake Bake Shop and feel comfortable doing that and happy doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a chance to talk with Gwendolyn yesterday at the opening when I went to the bakery, and you all didn't get a chance to see this, but I was like, hey, I was hearing that you might be opening, and my daughters were talking about potentially staying out of school today, and she was like, you should have brought them. So I was like, I will bring them back.
Oh, you gotta bring your daughters.
So they're really excited, especially to try that unicorn hot chocolate, and I can't recommend it enough. I also was hearing a lot of talk about pricing, and once we actually got into it and started actually eating and talking to some of the folks around us, and I think you kind of echoed this as well, everybody was like, wow, you know, this is not what I anticipated just reading the menu, and I would totally do it all over again, hands down.
Everybody I was eavesdropping on in the restaurant, I was very happy with their experience. I didn't hear anybody complaining. I just heard people saying that it was so beautiful, the food was so delicious. So we just had a great time. We'll let you know when that afternoon tea kicks in and how it changes in general now that it's kind of getting into the soft opening. And then once it gets into the official opening, just keep an eye on the AllEars socials as well as on the AllEars.net blog for all of those details if you're thinking about heading to the Cake Bake Shop.
Otherwise, if you like this video, go ahead and give us a big old thumbs up, like and subscribe, and
yeah, now go check out me and Emma reviewing Yachtsman Steakhouse just across the water. We'll see you there. Bye!
Bye!